Hey everyone, it's Jonathan and welcome to the first episode of our 2026 JDIFF recap. Last year, Nicki, aka Trivial Theater, invited me to join her at the Julien Dubuque International Film Festival, and we had so much fun we decided to make it an annual thing. So, last week I headed for Dubuque, my work schedule being what it is, I couldn't make it for the entire festival, but we still made the most of it, including going to a few things on Wednesday night, the second I got to Dubuque after driving all day across Iowa. This first episode is going to combine days 1 and 2. Wednesday night got really late on us, so we waited to do both Wednesday and Thursday at once. Okay, JDIFF 2026.
Oh, we're back here again.
Year 2 for us.
Woohoo! I feel like there's a fair amount of interesting movies, but certainly a different kind of selection than what there was last year.
Yeah. Last year I feel like there was more like fun.
Yeah.
Not that there isn't this year, but it just doesn't feel the same
Yeah.
as last year.
I can tell you from looking through, because when we initially, I went through when everything came out and kind of tried to decide for myself, what I saw was good, and then you and I kind of talked over everything, and you kind of said what you wanted, and we got everything figured. Especially amongst the shorts, there was a lot of stuff that seemed to be dealing with, grief and mourning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether that's an indicator of just the mood of people, or if it's just... It just seemed to happen where there was a lot more bittersweet type endings.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we've gone to a whole lot of those specific ones. I think we've kind of tried to
We've kind of gotten some better ones so far. We'll see what the next couple of days brings.
Yeah. Well, and I mean...
And we kind of avoided ones that we knew were going to be too much of a downer.
Yeah, exactly. But I think too, I think we decided on those ones, and... especially with the short blocks, even amongst, the kind of categorized ones, I mean, it's a student categorization.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got that, you might have one that's a real downer, but then you might have another one that's, all peppy happy. So it's really hard to tell until you get into them. Because even ones where I thought I knew what was going on, there was a lot of them that kind of hit out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
So we started on Wednesday night when you got here. And the first one that we saw was a short block of 5 very distinct movies.
Very different.
I would agree. Well, I guess
none of them really tonally fit together.
No. I mean, the one thing that I think 4 out of the 5 had going for them was, 3 out of the 5, I guess, they dealt heavily with CGI and kind of technology. From the perspective of there was a lot of technology used.
Mm-hmm. The first 3 had animation all in completely different ways.
Oh yeah, and those they do Q&As afterwards when directors or other members of cast and crew are present, and those were the 3 that were present for the kind of Q&A afterwards as well.
Well, the one I remember, the first word was Chowmein.
Chowmein Holiday.
Okay, that one they weren't there.
No, neither. They weren't there, and neither was Frog and Feathers.
Yeah, so Chowmein Holiday was one that I was grouping in with the 3 with animation because the opening and closing was animated of Chowmein Holiday.
Oh, that's true.
Because it had all the paper cutouts of the tiger.
Mm-hmm. That was cool.
Yes.
And that's I actually thought that was going to be more. I thought that whole thing was going to be animated, honestly.
The way it started, and it went on for a while as an animated short, but then it went to live action.
Yeah, and then towards the end, it kind of hit back to that. And, I mean, it's a low-budget movie. Well, not low-budget. Indie movie is a better way to term it. For those big, actually, set pieces, they didn't do tell, don't show. They did, show, don't tell in a really interesting way. Mm-hmm. So, I really enjoyed that one. The callbacks to... the diner scene where the couple are robbing the diner was great from Pulp Fiction. That whole thing was there. It kind of had a little Thelma and Louise. It was just 2 ladies on the run that both need and absolutely cannot stand each other. I had such fun with that one.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was very different than the types of things I usually watch because you're not... I mostly watch things where you're following the good guys. These are not the good guys.
No.
But... it was fun in its own very distinct way. I think I liked it because it's 2 old ladies, and I always like things with old ladies, even if they're evil.
Oh, man. You take the sassy granny from any movie, and you take her times 2. Oh, my goodness. It was great. Laughing my butt off the whole time.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah. Perfectly cast.
Yes, very.
And the whole Zhang Shi
they were talking about Shang-Chi was her grandson. They were trying to get out of a cop.
Yeah.
And she held up a picture of the superhero, Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And the cop recognized the superhero, and then she got away like saying, "Are you racist? Do you think all Asian people look the same?" Even though he's perfectly right. And he's like, no.
No, that was fantastic. And there was some moments of honest kind of suspense.
Yeah.
But it was I think of them, it was probably, well, that and Frogs and Feathers, I think, were probably tonally the most, like, clear narrative.
Probably.
Yeah, just because it was a relatively straightforward tale. Mm-hmm. You're not jumping all over the place between, like, intrigue and noir things, or the idea of them going more behind the scenes kind of a deal. Like, there's no real set narrative to Final Conflict, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So,
yeah.
And then Please Don't Send Help is a whole other kettle of fish.
Yeah.
I guess on the subject of Frogs and Feathers, that was, I think, German, maybe?
I want to say it was Danish, because I'm pretty sure they had a Danish flag in there.
You're right, absolutely. I apologize to all the people from Denmark watching. That was a complete and utter thing on my part. I think one of the corresponding, like, production companies that was behind it was something Deutschland. I could be wrong on that, though, too, so...
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I saw a Danish flag.
Yeah, no, there was Danish flags all over that first couple of scenes, so when they get back to the house. But that one was so cute. Like, it dealt with grief, it dealt with, I guess, growing up, understanding things from different perspective.
But not in a way that was too melancholy.
No, definitely not. And it's probably, of the things that we've watched, it's definitely the most, like, traditional way you would describe whimsical.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because Chowmein Holiday definitely wasn't whimsical.
No. None of them were except for that one, really.
Yeah, no. It was probably, of them, it was probably the greatest outlier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely didn't, even from a traditional standpoint, it didn't really fit with everything else that was categorized
None
there.
of them really fit together. I don't know. They were all so completely unique.
Yeah. But I kind of appreciate that. Like, you get too many of one thing. Yeah. And you do kind of, like, if it was all drama, like, you would have to have some very distinct dramatic pieces for them to stand out. And the same thing with anything, whether you're talking horror, comedy, any of that stuff. So, not that animation would fall under that umbrella, because you're still talking different genres, but yeah. So, but no, it was, I don't know, do we want to get into kind of what they're about?
Yeah.
So Frogs and Feathers was about this, probably, 10-year-old?
Probably about 10, yeah.
Yeah, sort of 10 to 12-year-old that lost her dad, and she is watching over the frogs around their pond in the same way that her dad would, because he would protect the frogs from the birds. And she buried 4 of them over the course of the day, and she's very sad about that, and she goes in to talk to her mom, and there's a misunderstanding the way that only mothers and daughters can have a misunderstanding, and at that same time she had saved a small frog from being eaten, and she takes it into the bedroom, and she gets a wild idea to kiss it. And unlike Princess and the Frog, it turns into probably a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah, just a little boy who never speaks for the whole movie, which I appreciated.
He did. He was adorable. And the clothes kind of match the coloring of the frog, which makes sense. But then they go off to try and save all the other frogs, and it turns out that it doesn't work, and she has to explain to the little boy why it didn't work, and she starts to understand where her mom is coming from, and there's one of those understandings that comes from experience.
Yeah.
But it kind of, again, sits with the whimsy and sits with the cute, but still tells a very important lesson. It hits grief from a different perspective, but does it well.
Yeah, I appreciated that it wasn't too dour.
Yep, exactly. So the next one up is, it's one of those movies where, like, that the insight that you got from the director being there really helped, I think. It was called Please Don't Send Help, and was kind of just a voiceover and stock footage.
Yeah. The way it started, I thought it was like a teaser, and I thought we were going to get into something, and then it was just over.
Yeah.
So it felt like a trailer for something more than a short film. But it was well put together.
Very much.
It made me want to know what it was about, which we never will know because that was the whole thing.
Yeah, that was totally, it was more like a you're approaching our planet. Here's all the excellent things that we have here. Kind of like a promo reel for the settlement. So that the idea is a settlement on the other side of the universe, something like a Mars settlement or whatever. And the imagery at first shows them touching down and, despite challenges, they live in good housing. They're able to survive. They were able to raise crops and interact with the environment in a good way. Please don't send help, though. We're good. And it's like the wink, wink, nudge, nudge towards the camera, but it's done in a very like, oh yeah, great, we're fine. Don't send help. I guess reverse psychology.
I wasn't exactly sure what he was going for. Like, it was obvious that something was wrong, but it wasn't going to explain what the something was wrong. Right.
And that's kind of, it was ambiguous, which I kind of appreciate when it comes to that in a lot of movies. Like, not every movie, but for being able to have that non-definitive ending. I always, because it takes a certain level of, I guess, bravery to do that. And because people like definitive endings. And again, this was a 3-minute piece, but it was really kind of a project that the director-editor set for himself. He had a budget of $15, which he put towards a $5 voiceover, which was phenomenal. Whoever his voiceover person was, absolutely transformed it from kind of random stock image or stock footage to something so much more. But it was his way to learn how to edit.
Yeah.
Like, he came in, I don't even know if he knew basics.
It didn't sound like it from the way he was talking.
Yeah, like
he basically taught himself how to edit with this project.
Yeah, he was a writer, or is a writer, and just kind of went from there. And we got to talk, we were there for the Q&A, and then we talked to him afterwards, just offhandedly, and remarkable individual, like just a really interesting person.
Yeah.
Like someone you could sit down and have coffee or a beer with, and just probably they could regale you with stories galore.
Yeah, he was really nice.
He was a very cool guy. So we talked about Chowmein Holiday. My personal favorite, Fatal Conflict Behind the Blood.
I think that was my favorite, too.
Yeah.
It was the most entertaining all the way through. I think as a story, Frogs and Feathers, I might have preferred, but as a piece of entertainment, Fatal Conflict.
Agreed. And Fatal Conflict was essentially kind of a Mortal Kombat ripoff. It was described in the little descriptor as Mortal Kombat meets Best of Show. Christopher Guest's Best in Show or Spinal Tap. So kind of an off-the-cuff, improv kind of...
It was like a mockumentary, like behind the scenes. Yeah. Not even behind the scenes, because it was like these were the retired video game characters living in the normal human world.
Exactly. And it was all done with mocap or motion capture.
Yeah. Which
in itself, wow.
It was really well done, and I think it fit this project because I can be hit or miss on motion capture. Like I don't really like I'm thinking mostly of Robert Zemeckis' work. I don't really like what he's done with motion capture. It just looks uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Weird.
Dead eyes.
But even though you did get that with the human characters from this video game, because it is a video game, it fit this.
Oh, yeah.
It did not bother me at all that they looked uncanny valley, because these kinds of video game characters look uncanny valley. That's just how they look.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, and especially from that era of video game. Like that kind of early to mid 2000s, 2010s. But no, it was fun. So the director brought in a whole bunch of improv actors and gave them the beginning and the ending of each scene, but then they had them improv throughout. And then they used 3D kind of renderings of different characters from like a 3D stock site, and everything after that was mocap. And just the way he described everything was just fascinating. I think it ran a little long. That would be my only kind of thing with it. But overall, I mean, it was fun. It was goofy. At one point, they start talking about, I think it was Canadian games with one called, what was it? Rail to Rail or something like that. But it just
European board games.
Yeah, European board games.
Ticket to Ride is what they were talking about.
Yeah. And that's such a fun game.
And Catan, they were talking about that too.
Yeah. But just the Emperor.
The juxtaposition between who was talking about these games and who was playing them
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous, but in a very good way.
Yeah, it's just like you have all these characters with all of these powers, and they're talking about like the one kind of Johnny Cage-esque character is teaching a health/history class, and he's talking about lizard people on one end and what to do when you get your period on the other. And at one point, this giant is a hellfish.
That's what he said his name was. Yeah.
Yeah, this giant hellfish.
He was like a big pufferfish/lionfish/ogre
shark thing that shoots fire. He goes into the bathroom with his ex, and they at this coffee shop, and they
destroy the coffee shop.
They destroy the coffee shop, yeah. And my favorite, though, was the Emperor. Him and the two, his two kind of right-hand guys. Yeah, Kyle and Christopher. And it was set up to be, the director hopes to kind of turn it into like a series. Yeah. So this was really his pilot.
Yeah. He said he was talking to Dropout, which we've gotten into Dropout. We've been watching it every time I come up here.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, perfect.
It would be the perfect fit for this series. This already feels like a Dropout thing. Like something that would be on Dropout.
And the format, too, sets itself up pretty perfectly.
Yes. All the people who are regulars on Dropout would be perfect playing... Just stick them in motion capture suits and have them become these hideous video game characters.
Oh, yeah.
Doing weird stuff.
Agreed. It was, and we actually ran into the director today.
Yeah.
And he was just so cool. Like, just
he's
the
really
nicest guy. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say about that particular one?
Just that it was probably my favorite of that block.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And on the last one is The Beast of the Black Woods, or the Black Forest. Black Forest, not Black Woods. So it's set in Germany. The style of it was actors shot against a green screen and then superimposed backgrounds, sort of like Hundreds of Beavers. It's kind of a film, not a film noir maybe, but like...
It kind of gave me that feeling.
Yeah. And it was well acted, I thought. The technology side of it was fantastic. It takes place in the 1800s, Bavaria. There's a bunch of people ritualistically killed by what they call the beast, and no one can figure out what's killing them. And kind of an inept constable is trying to figure things out. All of a sudden, there's a couple of other people that are killed in a similar but different way, and the person that they find out is actually doing the killings up until a certain point was also killed, and gasp, they find out other things, and it was a fun little piece. Again, I think... Shorts are hard because, like, there is that point in which a short feels too long. Mm-hmm. And there's just certain places where, as an editor, I don't 100% know where I would have cut it, but it was, again, just a tad bit. And maybe it was just because you think shorts, you think 20 minutes, and this was at least 30.
Yeah.
Which still falls into that short range, but not.
It's still a short.
Yeah. It's
just a longer short.
Yeah. It had a lot of cute lines. It was well put together. Like, again, the acting was really good. I don't know. Maybe my expectations were, I don't know, not even expectations. It was very well put together. Just maybe a little on the long side.
Probably. It wasn't my favorite, but I don't tend to like that kind of thing anyways. But for what it was, by the end, I was a lot more invested than I normally would be with that kind of a thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it got better for me, even though I didn't love the gruesome subject matter.
No, that's fair. That's fair, because they did a good job with the prosthetics and things to make everything look not great. Mm-hmm. And, there's a bunch of people that lost thumbs, which, R.I.P. thumbs. The other thing that we watched last night was called Homebody. And so this was a full feature-length movie. Again, the director, who also was the main actor and did, like, everything else under the sun, and his, I think, co-producer?
I think so.
Co-producer slash actor.
Who did she play? Because I didn't get a good look at her.
She played the lady that always brought him coffee.
The DoorDasher? Okay,
yeah,
that's what I thought. But I was like, is that her? Because she looked different in real life.
Yeah. Well, out of character,
I wasn't sure.
No, they were, again, fantastic people. So nice.
Yes.
Like, just personable as the day is long. And, you're talking into movies, and they're just happy to have people, like, watch their stuff. I mean, there's more expectations than that, but that's kind of the baseline for when you're at a film fest like this.
Yeah.
But genuinely, very cool people.
Yeah. Really nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Homebody is essentially I don't even know how old he's supposed to be. Maybe in his 30s?
When it started, I thought he was in his 40s.
I thought he was too.
but then they were talking, and like, I don't remember what the line was, but there was something that they said. I was like, wait, are they supposed to be younger? Because I really thought he was in his early 40s at the beginning of the short.
I did too.
Or not short. This was a full-length feature, not a short.
Right. I would say he's probably... Because he did have a babyish face. Mm-hmm. But it definitely was on the upper end of... whatever he was supposed to be. He had a younger
face with world-weary eyes.
Very, very much. And I mean, if you were recluse from the world and your girlfriend had abandoned you, I suppose that would be you too. But we're just going to say late 20s, early 30s. We'll be generous, I guess. Or we'll kind of go for what they were thinking.
I really have no idea, yeah.
So he lives with his parents. He was either dumped or left behind by his girlfriend, and for the past 2 years he had been living at his parents' house, working a remote job, and essentially being a recluse. Mm-hmm. And then his parents come along and say, hey, we've been putting off selling the house. We're going to sell the house. You have 3 months to find something different. Mm-hmm. And at this time, he had been asked to come to New York for a job interview because of what he could do, and he kept putting it off because it would require him to leave what his comfort zone was, I guess.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the movie is, I mean, it's a road trip movie. Mm-hmm. He makes his way across the states from California to New York. He has many misadventures, including looking at the world's largest picnic basket in Ohio. He has kind of a love interest. I guess she's more than kind of a love interest. Someone that he talks to all the time, but they never have talked.
They've never talked in real life. Like, they only talk by text. Mm-hmm. The way they were setting it up, I thought the same thing as his friend. I thought he was getting catfished. I didn't think she was real until she was there. And then they didn't get together. I wanted him to end up with the DoorDasher, actually. I thought she was a much better fit for him. And she was like the best character in the movie.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
She was the most realistic feeling person in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, this is another one where I felt like it got long in places, but every time the DoorDasher would show up, it's like, okay, I like this now. I'm back in the movie. It doesn't feel too long anymore.
Absolutely. But it was, for all the things he was up against, they didn't write it in such a way where it was so dark.
No,
like, he was up against a lot of stuff. Like, at one point, his luggage was stolen out of the back of his car, which for some reason the hatch kept flying up. Mm-hmm.
It's like, if it were me, I would have gotten that fixed before I drove the thing across the entire U.S. continent.
He manages to he's got like a Mini Cooper. He manages to run it off the road. He saves his cousin from a fight with a couple of guys that the cousin had insulted. But with everything that happens, it's a very gentle, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is nice, like, because it didn't go overly dramatic, which I didn't have an issue with, because there's so many movies where it does get so overly dramatic.
Yes. No, this is one, yes, it did feel too long in some places. But also, I didn't mind as much as I have with other movies that have felt like they're going too long.
Yeah.
Because I never felt like I didn't like what I was watching.
Right.
Because a lot of times if a movie feels like it's too long and you just hate everybody, it's like, I hate this now.
Right.
I don't feel like that with this movie. Like, I feel like it could have been trimmed up a bit, but I liked the characters, and I was invested in his journey, so.
Absolutely. And the things that mattered at the end were, he grew as a character. He was someone you could root for, which was nice. There wasn't, the skeletons in the closet weren't really skeletons. They were just normal human interaction, which, again, I really appreciated. And I certainly was the same boat. I wasn't looking at my watch constantly. But no, it was well put together. You could see that there was a lot of passion and love behind it. The way it was shot was really gorgeous. Again, they were talking kind of throughout, or they talked through the Q&A through some of the processes, and they kind of rolled with what happened. If it rained, they implemented that into the actual storyline. They took advantage of what was around them. They did a great job of making, because they shot pretty much all in the East Coast. I think they ended up in Ohio at one point, but for the most part it was all pretty condensed. And they found a lot of stuff to kind of keep everything looking like it's different areas of the country. So that was good.
Yeah.
It was a solid movie.
Yeah, it was good.
And you can with all of these guys, they all were talking about like their next project. So none of them were resting on their laurels. They weren't like putting all of their eggs in one basket with whatever they were working on at present. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Again, super nice people to talk to as well afterwards.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many people we actually got, not just the Q&A, like we got to talk to them.
Yeah, we did. And they were so incredibly nice, and it made you want to seek out more of their work, which I don't know what we can do to kind of make sure that we put out their like websites or social media to try and something.
If we have any, we can stick them in the description.
Absolutely. Definitely worth seeking out their other works just to support really good artists. So then tonight was actually a shorter day for us.
Yeah, well, yesterday was short too.
True.
But that was because I got in at 5 and that's when the first movie was. So
exactly.
Today we just didn't have as much to do because we didn't really want any of the ones in the morning. They were all kind of a lot of ones that looked like they were going to be downers.
Yeah.
So we just avoided them. And then the one we were going to see early afternoon got sold out. So we ended up just being tourists in Galena instead.
Yeah, that was fun though. We saw some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So the first one we saw was a documentary called Allie Eats America.
Which is probably my favorite that we've seen so far of all the things.
It was, so basically there was, Allie is a 17-year-old that gets bone cancer in his scapula, and he has to go into chemotherapy for, I think, 17 weeks.
I don't remember the length of time, but it was long enough that it was torturous.
Yeah, and then they were going to do surgery to remove his clavicle and other areas of bone, replace it with a titanium piece, and then he had to go back under for another round of chemotherapy, which was equally long, to make sure everything was taken care of. And then, he was, in theory, going to be cancer-free. And throughout all of that time, they had gone through all the meals that they had at the hospital, and Allie's sense of taste had kind of left him.
I've heard that can happen with chemotherapy. You kind of, your taste buds just stop working correctly. He said everything was tasting like metal.
Oof. So they decided that, he wanted to taste everything. When he got his taste buds back, he just wanted to try everything.
He started watching a lot of, Food Network shows and food travel shows.
Specifically Anthony Bourdain. Yeah, which the man was an absolute legend with the way he went about stuff.
I didn't know what time that this was filmed, and they started talking about watching Anthony Bourdain. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Where's this going to go? Because we all know what happened with Anthony Bourdain. I was like, how long ago was this? But then it said later that it was 2017, 2018 when he was going through all this.
Yep, and then Anthony Bourdain died at the back end of 2018.
Yeah.
So basically, they crowdfunded not against Allie's wishes, but as kind of a, is it okay to do this, and stuff. And they ended up making an insane amount of money off of this Kickstarter, for this.
It was a GoFundMe,
GoFundMe.
To have him go to different restaurants in between rounds of chemo, while he was able to taste, go and try different things.
And then after everything was done as well, and they raised something like $50,000 to be able to do this. In the meantime, stories got out about it, and that's ultimately how the producer and the director of this came to find them.
Yeah. I think it was after the Kickstarter, someone wrote an article, and then the filmmakers read the article and got in touch with them, and then basically followed him through his entire cancer journey, and then through his travels afterwards.
For I think until the end of 2018 or 2019.
It was into 2019 for sure, yeah.
Absolutely. And obviously he's a teenager, so there's going to be moments of ups and downs, but, endless positivity, and he took every experience as just such a grateful thing. And
which a lot of that was because of his mom, which he credited that too, because he was actually there, another person who was there in person. I was really surprised that the subject of the documentary was at the film festival, but he credited his attitude towards his mom.
Oh yeah.
And his mom was, he has a great mom.
Oh yeah, instrumental, absolutely instrumental. But it was as much of a feel-good movie as one could be. The thing is, they focused on the cancer, but only as long as the cancer was a prevalent thing. But
it was very prevalent in the beginning, because we had watched the trailer when we were planning what we were going to watch, and I just thought that this was going to be more of a food travel documentary. So then it was, the cancer thing was going on and on. I was like, I hope we're not about to watch this kid die.
Yeah. Well, and that was a question that was brought up too. There's always that kind of holding your breath until the last minute.
Yeah, there was another lady in the audience was like, I'm so glad to see you here. Sometimes you never know with these things, like if the text at the end is going to say, and then he died.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you'd never know.
You don't. Well, and even, a reoccurrence of cancer, being that it's been 8 years since the initial documentary filming began. The mom was talking about how there was a reoccurrence because when Allie, when he was like 4, had some kind of, was it non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or something like that?
Something like that. Something that had to be treated with radiation, which they think is what ultimately caused the bone cancer.
Yep.
So, yeah. The kid's gone through it.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, and he, I guess he'd be probably 24 or 25 now, thereabouts.
He's in his 20s, yeah.
Yeah, but over the course of time, with all of the places that he went and the things that he saw, he got to work with a whole bunch of different chefs, try things out. He actually got to speak with Anthony Bourdain. Never got to meet him in person, but managed to have conversations with him. He got to meet Wolfgang Puck and Emeril Lagasse.
That was a great scene. Like, he was at a restaurant working with the restaurant, like learning how to make gnocchi, and then suddenly Wolfgang Puck is there, and then he's got to feed Wolfgang Puck the food he just made.
But yeah, no, and like it was incredible. It was very, very cool.
Yeah.
And again, it was just real. And
yes,
that was such a nice, not that you don't get that all the time, but it was just a good story.
Yes.
And true.
Yeah.
No, it was excellent. I agree. It's probably one of the top things I've seen as well. Just an outside that, like a documentary that just hit right.
Which you don't always get with documentaries. Sometimes you just never know how a documentary is going to hit. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Is it going to be depressing? You'd never know. Thankfully, this one had a good ending.
It did. It very much did. And on the subject of food, I don't know how we did it, but I guess maybe it was location. The last thing we watched was in the same theater as Allie Eats America. And it was...
Fork in the Road.
Yeah, Fork in the Road. And I think what drew us to it was the fact that Nick Offerman was involved.
That's what drew me to it. Like, he was in the trailer. I was like, oh, Nick Offerman. He's in a food documentary. We've got to watch this one.
Absolutely. And the trailer didn't really say a whole lot about it.
No, not really. I didn't really know what to expect. And Nick Offerman was not really the star. He kind of was a thread through the movie, but it was about a ton of different farmers all over the U.S., even to Alaska, and the struggles that they're going through with all the different things facing farmers today, between corporate farms taking over and climate change and just...
not regulations, but like policy changes and things like that. But just the diversity of people. You had urban farmers, you had kelp farmers, which is where everything started, was kind of an emphasis on the diversity of what can be done with kelp, both as food, as fertilizer, as weed killer. Or maybe it was more fertilizer. Maybe
I think it was more fertilizer. I don't know about weed killer.
Yeah, no, it was fertilizer. You're right. I got thinking about this stuff, but yeah, it was a natural way to do what's needed to maintain the integrity of the soil.
Yes. And not even maintain it, to make it better.
Yeah.
Because soil that's another thing that was touched on, how depleted the soil is because of just monocropping, only planting corn. Like, not everybody in Iowa, but like that's kind of a stereotype about Iowa. It's like, oh, it's all corn.
Oh yeah, no,
and
absolutely.
A lot of farmers will only plant one thing and always plant one thing. Maybe rotate 2 things between years, but like it's a problem, and the soil is the lesser for it. And I'd never heard of turning kelp into something that could restore soil.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I learned so much about kelp. I went from never even considering kelp as a food source to, like, I want to try that. There was a pair of, one was I think a chef and another woman who wrote a cookbook, and they were making a chicken with kelp and butter. I was like, that looks amazing.
It does. It very much did.
And then the filmmaker afterwards talked about it. He said, yeah, I had some while I was there. It was really good.
Well, kind of the kelp actually brined the inside of the turkey or the chicken too. Yeah. So we just ate and I'm hungry again. But no, just the diversity of farmers. Like, you had an Inuit or indigenous guy.
An Alaskan native.
An Alaskan native. You had a boat guy, or an Alaskan that worked on a boat. He had gone from not lobster, like clams and mussels.
I think he was in Maine. I don't think he was in Alaska.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, because
somewhere. Maybe it wasn't Maine, but it was somewhere in that area.
Yeah, you're right. So he had gone through all these different kinds of fishing, and he had settled on kelp because it was the only thing that was sustainable at that point.
Yeah.
But he was leading like a whole new movement for kelp. And again, that's kind of the director had said that's where everything had started, was ocean farming and what it could do to help other farmers all over the place. But otherwise, you had an urban farmer. You had a set of people that basically lived like Amish. They had no electricity. They did like horses and the kind of equipment you would have back in the 1800s. You had people that had been dairy farmers. They went to beef. And then they managed, though, to find a way to implement dairy farming because that's what the family had come from.
Because they were some of the people who have been, boxed out because of corporate farming.
Right.
Walmart was one of their, it was Walmart, was one of their biggest
Walmart
buyers. And then Walmart was like, no, we've got a better idea. We're going to buy from, or maybe
doing it in-house.
Yeah.
So
then they weren't going to buy from this small family farm anymore.
Yeah. And then there was several others as well. They covered stuff from all over. Oh, they had a Hispanic lady in California, I think, who worked. I can't
remember where she was, but yeah,
she's southwest.
Yeah.
But she had been like a picker of all kinds of different crops, like a farm worker, and she actually got sick because of all the pesticides. So she had to have like a complete hysterectomy, and then she started up her own organic farm. And they provided, and again, took it to local farmers market, and, it became a steady thing for folks that needed that on a local level, because there are so many food deserts out there now. You talk about small towns, you talk about inner city, there's no places to be able to get those essential fresh pieces or fresh things if you don't have the cash to be able to do so.
Yeah.
So, that was a fascinating documentary.
Yeah.
So much learned.
Yeah. Stuff I never even thought about.
Yeah. And certainly gives you, peace of mind. The best thing that was said a couple of times was that we throw up our hands because it's like, what can you do on a local level? But everything that you can do is a series of small solutions, not big ones.
And they said they specifically were trying to make the documentary to give people hope that things aren't going to be horrible forever.
Right.
And to try and give people new ideas for ways to improve things.
Absolutely. And like everything else, that comes back to innovation and thinking outside the box. The one couple that had the dairy, they started doing ice cream.
Yes.
And on a very significant level, they were making strides. But yeah, it comes back to, it's not a new concept. Buying locally, shopping. If you have like a farmer's market or organic sales or places where you can buy organic, or where the people that are,
know who grew it.
Yeah, exactly. Farm to table as much as you can. And, and in the world now, it's not always easy to do that, but we get so caught up in that with reason, obviously, but there's more than just, if you can get yourself out of, if there's a way to stay out of crisis mode and pony up for those little bit better fruits and veggies or meat, long term it's better, but again, that's not always possible. So I don't know, it's that eternal question and eternal cycle of where to start.
Yeah.
So, and I guess it's looking for the good.
Yes.
Because like anything good, you do have to dig for it a little bit.
Yeah, really.
So, but if there are ways to sort that out, it's certainly worth it. Welcome to my TED Talk. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at for now. Those are the things that we saw, and I know you kind of mentioned what was your favorite, but of the things that we've seen the past 2 days, what would you say is your favorite?
Probably Ali Eats America. And as just a funny thing, Fatal Conflict was right up there also.
Agreed. Both from talking to the director and everything of Fatal Conflict.
Yeah.
Ali Eats America was amazing, but I gotta go with Fatal Conflict just because it was so silly.
Yeah.
And the mocap, just talking to the director on a couple of occasions and having him come up to us. Remember our goofy faces. It was out of the blue. It was like out on the street.
Yeah. Yeah, he was super nice.
Yeah. He even asked our opinion about, aspects of the short, and
Yeah.
it was unexpected.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he was really great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I think that's about it for now, I think.
Yeah, that's all we've seen the past couple of days. I think we'll have a lot more to talk about tomorrow because our day is packed.
The next 2 days are pretty full.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So I guess we will see you in the next one.
Until next time!
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow my co-hosts as well. All of our links will be in the description below. If you'd like more podcasts like this one, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well as most podcast platforms. If you'd like to support this show, check out Johncast Media on Patreon for everything here, plus bonus and extended episodes you won't find anywhere else. We'll be back soon with another brand new episode, so thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.